Hi, my name is Helen Hodgson with Serve the Goddess, and I'm chatting today with Virginia Hankins, who is the archer that's going to be joining us on our upcoming Goddess Retreat. If you write this down, the date is August 21st and 22nd of this year, 2015. And we're going to be enjoying the retreat up in Ojai, California. It's at a private retreat center, so we'll only be the ones there during the weekend. And I'm really excited because Artemis was a free-spirited goddess, and she represents that in all modern women today. And if you're somebody that is hungry to get out into nature, explore your wild spirit, get into the Artemis archetype, then you're in for a treat. And Virginia, so great to meet you. How are you?
It's a pleasure. I am so looking forward to the retreat. It's going to be one of the most beautiful, meaningful, and just incredible things that I have coming up this summer. It's going to be so incredible, and I can't wait to talk to everyone about archery and also lead them in some shooting drills.
Fantastic. So according to Greek mythology, Artemis was first introduced to the bow and arrow by her father Zeus. He sat her down on his knee and said, "My child, what is one gift that I can give you?" And she said, "I would love a bow and arrow." So she was 3 years old. Isn't that amazing? 3 years old to be given a bow and arrow. And of course, she became a skilled huntress. She was known as Goddess of the Hunt and the Moon. So when were you first introduced to archery?
I was introduced, actually, oddly enough, just like Artemis, by my father. And it was at a summer camp where it was through the YMCA. And we had all these amazing things to choose from. And there was fishing, and there was crafts and cooking, and then there were weapons. I mean, a rather precocious 5-year-old with my father. I thought that archery sounded very, very neat. And I also picked up guns at the same time, oddly enough. But archery has really stayed in my life for the rest of it. And I started there. And, you know, quite a bit of time later, I'm still able to now teach people and pass it on.
So what made you get into teaching women?
It was actually a need for women teachers. It was one of those things where I was fairly well known in the local community as a female archer. I was doing Hollywood work, and I had trained under a 2-time world champion. I'd gone to states. I was on the state team. I competed, and I started the USC program. But then I got a bit burnt out, and I took a couple of years off from it. And then I got a call one day from a local archery club due to the influx of females starting out because of Brave, the Pixar film. Right. And they said, "Would you consider getting your coach's certification, because we really need someone out there for girls?" And I took the test, and within a month, archery business was thriving. And about 3 years later, since I started really coaching, I've coached over 3,000 people. And I've developed the Girl Scout patch program for archery. I've coached around the country. And right now I have people fly in and drive up from around the West Coast to work with me.
Wow, that's pretty impressive. Wow, I'm really lucky to have got you then.
It's a busy time.
And it's actually interesting. More and more women that I talk to about the Goddess Retreat, the Artist Retreat coming up in August, is that they did archery as, you know, in Girl Scout camp, and how wonderful it's going to connect them to their youth.
Absolutely. I think it's one thing that archery is very much a lifelong sport. So as an example, my youngest archer right now that trains with me is 4. Wow. And my oldest is 86.
Wow.
So done extremely well with a trainer that knows how to do body alignment and really use your body to its best advantage. It's one of those sports that you can enjoy the simplicity of and the, oh my gosh, I got the gold of as a kid. And then as you move into adulthood, you might enjoy the focus or the presence or being able to give an excuse to actually leave the cell phone, the technology away, and just focus on one thing, which can be extremely centering for adults and is what a lot of adults actually stick with it for. You know, no longer, of course, they want to hit the gold, but it becomes more of a presence, a experience in nature, an excuse to get away, as well as being able to really focus on simplicity rather than all the different distractions we have in life.
Right. I mean, especially as women, we're pulled in so many different directions: mother, teacher, corporate CEO, entrepreneur, wife, sister. And that's what I love about Artemis. She was such an archetype for women, just to focus on one thing and to be independent and not reliant on anybody else, and to achieve the goals. These are things that we'll be discussing in the retreat. So the archeries, the bow and arrow, is such a wonderful talisman for women to remain focused and not feel guilty and pulled in all the different directions that we do as women. So I have another question for you. If some of the women watching this video were like, oh, well, I'm not athletic like Artemis was, because of course, you know, we see her depicted in ancient stories and photographs and paintings that she was very lithe and athletic and tall and you know, running through a forest with her bow and arrow, with her deers behind, you know, beside her. So is an average woman without any particularly athletic abilities, is she able to accomplish some, you know, the archery without, you know, feeling intimidated?
Absolutely. Something that I think a lot of people have a misconception of, because especially as adults, they're often started wrong by coaches, where if a woman, for instance, goes in with themselves, their friends, their significant other, and they go to something like a big sporting goods store, the person working at that store won't know truly about archery in, I'd say, 99% of cases. So they will look at them and say, oh, here's a 40-pound bow, go shoot this. And it's because they're setting up for a failure unknowingly, where they don't know that according to national standards, as I'm a USA Archery coach, we actually start from form and then we move to weight. Whereas in a lot of cases, just if you went to a sporting goods store again, they would start you on weight and they wouldn't care about form. So as an athlete, anyone in the sport has the potential to be an athlete, as long as they're started properly. In the retreat, some of our bows will only weigh 15 pounds. That's how much they're actually pulling. So at 15 pounds, I actually have 9-year-olds that can pull that. It's really not a very strong weight, but it teaches you form, and you can really do very, very well with it. You can actually do a decent distance with it, but more importantly, you're not working against the equipment, you're focused on yourself. So you will grow with strength if you stick with archery, just like any kind of thing. It's actually very, very similar to Pilates. If anyone does that, or moving meditation, some yoga forms have some translations into it. But we will be starting very light and we'll be building. So at any point also that I see someone out of alignment, that's one of the things I'm very, very strong in. If I was a dance instructor, I'd be a ballet coach. As an archer, I'm a form coach. And so you don't have to be very strong. In fact, I've actually coached women that did not have the use of one of their arms. I've seen disabled shooters shooting in wheelchairs. I've seen blind shooters shooting at a range. If there is a concern with that, I just happen to want to know, because that way I can best prepare special equipment to bring with me. But to the average person, it's something that anyone can really do. I've literally taught 3-year-olds how to do it, and I've taught, you know, the elderly that wanted to do that one last thing in their lifetime. So anyone that wants to go for it really can.
Wow, yeah, sounds amazing. So nobody need feel intimidated at all. We're, you know, like Virginia said, she's going to take us through the process, and we'll, you know, choose the bow and arrow for each particular person. So how is everybody going to feel after they've done the half-day archery with you during the retreat?
Normally what people feel is accomplished coming out of my sessions, because many people either have started a little bit before or nothing at all, or they've wanted to try it, or they're really kind of scared of it in some cases. And after working with me in an intensive session, they are going to learn a lot. And not just about the equipment, but about themselves, and hopefully gain a newfound confidence at the end. Where at the end, I think that women in particular really know when they've learned something and really know when they've done something. And coming out of my sessions, most people are saying, wow, I learned something eye-opening, engaging, I felt good coming out of it. It's a very positive environment where it's group supportive. Any coaching is actually done in terms of looking at what you're doing correctly, as well as where you can help to do even better, rather than it's wrong or right. And at the end of it, hopefully also a bit more centered. I find that a lot of women, when they get into the meditation aspect of it, of really being right there, going through the different steps, at the end of it, they just find that their brains are a little bit freer and that they have a little bit more breathing, they have a little bit more awakening in themselves because they've only been able to think about one thing. And that really, truly, especially with women, seems to be so very, very critical.
Oh, that's fantastic. I could only wish that everybody would feel that great, along with all the other activities that we're going to do in the retreat, which is going to be guided meditation and how to get in touch with Artemis. And the really good news too is this retreat center in Ojai has got an amazing green where we'll be doing the archery. So there's a wide open space. When I was searching for the right retreat center for Artemis retreat, I found it in this private retreat location up in Ojai. So it's got nature, it's got the expansive area, so we don't need to feel like we don't have enough space. So it's going to be perfect. Well, I can't wait till August. I think it's about 10 weeks away, August 21st, 22nd. When I publish this video, I'm going to put some links down in the bottom with a link to go directly to the Serve the Goddess website where everybody can register. Right now we have 15 people already signed up. We've got space for a few more. You can stay in the house on the retreat center, or there is special lodging around the main house. We've got a yurt, we've got earth lodges with outdoor showers. So it's a really interesting place. Very much will capture the Artemis spirit of wildlife, nature. We've got a private chef. We're going to be having organic vegetarian food, and it's going to be 2 days of bliss. So Virginia, thank you so much for making yourself available. And I know we can't wait to meet you. We're going to be seeing you on Saturday morning, so we'll be ready and waiting for you then. And everybody have a great day, and we'll see you in August. Bye, everybody.
Bye.